สวัสดีครับพระอาจารย์ครับครับผม
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another Dhamma meeting where we will discuss the Buddhist practices of meditation, charity, and morality. Everyone who is interested is welcome to join. We'll start with our first participant, which is Yok Bae. Yok Bae from New York. Where are you now? Bangkok in Thailand?
Yeah, going for Ajaan. I'm back to New York already Tuesday.
I see. And your friend is back into Malaysia?
No, she's still extension to back to Bangkok, Lumpur Uthai's monastery.
I see. She stayed longer, huh?
Yes, stay longer. She said that she Lumpur Uthai and Lumpur Village is her second homes. She said that.
Good, good. Hope she enjoyed it. You have any question tonight?
Could I sharing for my journey?
Briefly, yes, briefly. No.
Thank you. Because when I go to Lumpur Ganges monastery,
Kanha,
yeah,
Kanha.
Yeah, Kanha. He want us stay in the Gudi every single. I don't know why she like us stay in the every single Gudi. Why?
Stay in single Gudi?
Yeah.
So you can
Choosing every single
meditate.
Gudi. Yeah. Yes.
So,
yes.
so you can meditate. If you stay together, you keep talking. Huh?
Oh.
If you stay with other people, then you will feel like have to talk to each other. So you will not be practicing mindfulness or meditation.
Yeah, I'm so happy. Finally, I can go up to the mountain for stay for 3 nights.
By yourself, alone?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Okay. Good. It's a way to train your mind not to be afraid of being alone.
And also the first day I hear something like a noisy thing is coming. Why is happened that?
It's your imagination.
Yeah. And the second day I feel smooth when I feel peaceful. That's why.
Yes. When your mind becomes calm, then it doesn't imagine things around you. But when the mind is not calm, you start to imagine all sorts of things.
Yeah, I'm so happy. Yeah.
Good. So Felicia is still with Ajaan Uthai right now.
Yes. Now he can walking. He can moving very well. Since that day we came that he very sick. Finally, this 2 months he getting very, very good.
He can walk around now.
Yes, very good.
Can he talk also? Not yet.
Told he try emotion with the hand and something they doing like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very good, very well.
Very good. Hopefully he might have full recovery.
Yeah, we need him too.
Good. Okay.
Thank you.
Next, Willie from Indonesia.
Good evening, Panachan. Today I don't have any questions. Thank you.
Okay, Kok Seng from Singapore.
Yeah. Good evening, Prajan. Tonight I'd like to ask a few questions. One is about socializing. So the question is, I think Prajan, you have advised us not to socialize so much so that it will not disturb our meditation. But on the other hand, there is a need for us to socialize, like meeting up with our ex-colleagues or our our university friends for lunch and so on. So my question is, how do we strike a balance between socializing, the need to be reconnected with our friends or former colleagues, and on the other hand, on our need for bhavana?
Well, it's up to you what you need more. What you need more, then you give it more time. That's all. So each individual has different needs. So you have to decide for yourself what you need more, meditation or socializing.
Okay. I do feel that before, let's say I have a lunch appointment, so if so during the meditation in the morning, I will feel that my mind is not so the concentration is not that good because I'll be thinking of the upcoming lunch with my friend. So yeah, so this is something which I discover about myself.
Yes, the socializing and meditation are against each other. You cannot put them together. They are like boxers. Once they're in the ring, they start fighting against each other.
Mm. Okay, so meaning that we have to choose either one of them.
Eventually, but now you might be able to separate them temporarily, and you can set up time for meditation and set up time for socializing. But eventually, if you want to take the meditation path, then you have to give up socializing completely.
Well, but if we give up socializing completely, would that be a bit extreme in that sense?
It's up to you. Some people might say it's extreme. Some people might say it's not. So maybe to you it's extreme, but maybe to some other monks, those who became monks, they don't think it's extreme.
Okay.
I say eventually you have to decide for yourself what you want.
Okay, I'll contemplate over it. Then Prajan, my another question is regarding what trigger from what Sulan, I think what she was asking about cockroaches, and I was contemplating about in my own experience, cockroaches does not so-called pose so much of a problem because most of us, we are staying in the high-rise flat, so most of cockroaches, they just fly inside the house and then we just leave it alone. But on the other hand, I was contemplating about other kind of household pests, like for example, rats and so on. So for cockroaches, we may leave it alone, it will fly off by itself. But for pests like rats or mouse, I think it may be a health concern. So if we were to encounter rats or mouse, let's say how are we going to so-called resolve this problem or issue?
You have to consult somebody else. I'm not the expert on mouse or anything. I'm more on meditation, so I don't think I can give you such advice. You have to go consult some other people about this.
No, my question is, let's say if there is rats, okay, let's say in my house, I may need to call the pest control company to come and eradicate. But on the other hand, by calling the pest control company, so how am I so-called keeping the first precept of the training rules to refrain from killing?
It depends on how you talk to the pest controller. If you tell them to help you get rid of the pest, then you are breaking the first precept because you tell them to do it for you. But if you just ask them if they do the service of getting rid of pests, and if they volunteer to do it for you, then you're not actually committing because you didn't ask them to come and do it for you. You only ask them if they do this or not. So it's a technicality there.
But isn't that, okay, but technically it will still be the same, right? As long as we call the pest control company.
You don't call them, you just ask them. You call them and ask them what do they do, and then you tell them that you have rats in your apartment. What should I do? You can ask them for their advice. And if they say, "Oh, we can do it for you," then it's okay. You didn't ask them to do it for you. They volunteer to do it for themselves. Then you're not breaking the precept.
But they would charge for the service that they render.
Okay, that's the service is the service. It's not as long as you didn't tell them to do it and they volunteer and they ask for the service.
Okay, so it's the way we talk to the pest control company, and so the way we talk such that we do not so-called directly telling them to so-called to get rid of the pests.
Yes, because you leave it up to them whether they want to do it or not. See? If you tell them, then it means like you force them, to do. But you didn't say anything. You just only consult them, talk to them, and tell them of your problem, and see what they would offer. If they say, "Oh, I cannot do this because I'm keeping the 5 precepts," then this too bad. Then.
I don't think because they are pest control companies, so they are
They
in
don't
that business.
They don't keep the precept anywhere, right?
Yeah.
So see, they don't want to do it. They want to do it anyway, right? But because it's their livelihood.
Yes. Yeah, it's their livelihood.
But if you want to be pure and have nothing to do with this, just learn to live with the rats. Then.
But that would not be so-called acceptable.
Why not?
Yeah.
If rats don't get sick, why should you get sick from rats?
Because they will pose health hazards and so on.
If they themselves don't get sick, how can you get sick from them?
But no, but it will be a so-called a social concern, even for rats, and let's say in the restaurant setting and so on. So all these are not all these so-called rats, they are not acceptable pests to be around.
Or you can trap them, and once you catch them, then you can then take them and put them away in the forest somewhere.
Yeah. Okay.
They have traps. You can trap them without feeling them.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, Ajahn. I will contemplate over it.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Ajahn.
Gensel from Penang.
Ajahn, good evening. Yeah, no question, Ajahn.
Okay, Professor Ken from Switzerland.
Good afternoon, Ajahn.
Working today?
Yeah, I'm working. But don't have any formal teaching, so there's plenty of time at the moment.
You have any question?
Yes, Ajahn, I would like to ask if you could explain a little bit about the benefits of the death contemplation.
Death contemplation.
Yes.
Well, it reminds you of the reality of life. Sometimes we forgot that we have to die. So we will then be involved with trying to do so many things, like making more money, or building more, getting more possessions, or going places and doing things that you wanted to do. But if you think about death, then you say, hey, one day I'm going to have to stop. I won't be able to do all these things. What am I going to do then? So it kind of stops your cravings and your desire. One way, one thing. And then maybe give you a question. How will you deal with death? Because, how are you going to do it when you come face to face with this situation? If you study the Buddha's teaching, then the Buddha said there's a way of dealing with death in a peaceful, calm manner. So then you might want to prepare yourself to meet this challenge and learn how to deal with this thing. And the Buddha said you need to do samatha and vipassana meditation in order to be able to cope with death. Then it might give you incentive to practice meditation instead of spending your time going after sensual pleasure, because you know there's going to be an end to it one day, sooner or later. Either your body will not be able to do this thing anymore when you get older, or you get sick. This is the reason why people become depressed and even committing suicide, because once they get to this stage, they don't know what to do with their life anymore, because they cannot go after the sensual pleasures the way like they used to do. So contemplating on aging, sickness, and death can be sort of a forewarn, something to tell you that we're going to have a storm coming. Better start building a shelter, find a shelter. Because there's a shelter that you can have, that you can be protected from aging, sickness, and death. And that's the practice of meditation, samatha and vipassana meditation. Once you can achieve this meditation practices, then your mind will know how to cope with this situation. That's the reason why the Buddha had to renounce his princely life and took the life of a monk, because he saw the types of bodies. See an old man, see a sick man, and see a dead man. And he then compare them to himself, and they say, I will have to be like these people one day. So what am I going to do when I get old, when I get sick and die? So then he saw the fourth man. He saw a monk, and he discovered that the monk knows the path to transcend this aging, sickness, and death, or at least they are seeking the path for overcoming dealing with aging, sickness, and death. So he then waited for the time for him to leave the palace. And it came on the night when his wife gave birth to his son. He realized if he remained, he wouldn't be able to leave because of the bond between father and son will prevent him from leaving the palace forever. So he decided either now or never. So he left the palace without telling anybody, not saying goodbye to anybody, because he knew if he said goodbye, he would be stopped. He would be prevented from leaving. So this is the purpose of contemplating on aging, sickness, and death. This is the truth of life. This is the truth of our existence. Our life is not rosy all the time. It's going to have to meet the sunset years, when we won't be able to do much, like when we are younger. And when we cannot do things like we used to, we usually get depressed, right? Get lonely, get sad. But if we practice meditation, and both, meditation for calm or mindfulness meditation and meditation for wisdom, then we will be able to tame the mind, calm the mind, keep the mind unaffected by the process of aging, sickness, and death. Because we can live happily without using the body, to seek for sensual pleasure. Because there's another type of pleasure you can have. There's a pleasure from your meditation. So this is something to remind you or to warn you, to tell you that we have a storm coming, and better seek shelter or build a shelter now before it's too late. That's the purpose, really, for contemplating on the aging, sickness, and death. And this is something the Buddha recommends that Buddhists do every day. Part of their chanting. After they chant, they should include this contemplation chant. Being born, I'm subjected to aging, sickness, and death, and separation from the ones I love. There is no other way. I cannot escape this truth, this reality. Then you can see that the uselessness of our pursuit of our pleasure, sensual pleasure, that eventually it's all end up with nothing. All the pleasures that you have, once you become old and you can no longer have them, then it seems like you never even had them before. They're all gone. They don't remain and support you anymore. So it's just, getting nothing after all these years of hard work and pursuing this happiness. When the body can no longer do this, then everything that you have accumulated, all disappear into thin air. All that is left in your mind or your heart is loneliness, emptiness, and cravings for more. And this is this craving that's causing you the depression or the stress. When you crave and you cannot get what you crave for, then you become sad, become depressed. Then you wanted to commit suicide. You don't want to live it like this because you cannot have any happiness. But if you can meditate, then you can calm your mind, calm your cravings. When there's no craving, then there will be no stress, no depression, or no loneliness. It's our craving that's creating this stress and depression, not the aging, sickness, or death of the body, or the inability to go after sensual pleasure. It's our craving for sensual pleasures. And when we cannot get them, then we become unhappy, sad. Excuse me. So it's good to remind yourself so that you will then say, I better start meditating more. And like Cook saying, he's been asking himself whether he should socialize more or less than meditation. Then if you know that eventually you're going to need meditation as your support, and your socializing cannot help you at all, when you get to the point where you can no longer socialize with anybody, then your only resort is your meditation. So if you can meditate, then your mind can become happy. Whether you're old, you're sick, or you're dying, wouldn't matter to your mind if your mind can meditate and become calm and peaceful. Okay.
Thank you, Tanajan.
It's nice also to go visiting old age people from time to time to see how they live, Go to the hospital to see the sick people. And also go to the mall if you can. Because thinking about them might not be as strong as seeing them yourself. Have a stronger impact on your mind.
Yeah.
Talking about them, thinking about them is not as strong as really seeing them with your own eyes.
Yeah.
Okay. When you see these people, then you can tell, then you can reflect and say, this is what I will be one day, sooner or later. See, we are surrounded by live people, by young people, by active people. So we don't see how it is like when you're surrounded by sick people, old people, or dead people. The impact is different. So it's good if you can go visit these people from time to time to remind you of your future. Like there's a monastery, one of Ajaan's disciple monastery. He hung the skeleton on the dining hall, and he put a little sign that say, "I am your future, you are my past."
Yeah, I know that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's Ajaan Chah Monastery, isn't it?
It's Ajaan Singtong monastery. It's one of Ajaan Mahabhu's contemporary. You consider Ajaan Mahabhu as his older brother, and respect him as a teacher also. It's a good reminder when you see the skeleton. This is my future. Okay, good enough for tonight.
Thank you very much, Ajaan. That's very clear, very helpful. Thank you.
Okay, so don't forget to contemplate on that every day from now on, aging, sickness, and death.
Okay.
Every morning before you start your day, contemplate this fact.
Okay.
Okay. So you don't get too serious with your work anymore. You just do it just to get by.
Yeah, I think I've reached that stage already. Just
Yeah. Okay, good.
Okay. Thank you, Ajaan. Thank you very much.
Next, Kwan Lee Man. She came to the monastery for 3 weeks.
Yes, Ajaan. Ajaan, when I was in Wat Yan and Khao Chi-on, I could wake up at 3:30 or 4 and sit for 2 hours. But when I came back, I cannot wake up that early.
Because
And
then you didn't have anything to do in the monastery, so you sleep early. But here you have other things to do. You can watch TV, you can talk to your friends, do all
no,
sort of things.
I don't watch TV or talk to anybody except there are 2 persons at home here, and I don't socialize. I don't go out. It's just very simple. I just couldn't wake up at 3 something in the morning.
Maybe because nobody forced you to do it. Then you have to get up because they will ring the bell and wake
No,
you up.
in Wat Yan and Khao Chi-on, it just automatic. It just wake up, and no need to ring the bell or something. I just wake up at that time, and
Maybe
I just
it's because you have intention to wake up because you know this is what you're here for.
yeah. So when I come back, I couldn't wake up, and I feel so guilty that I couldn't wake up early. But I still continue to practice
Maybe
afterwards.
it's because you didn't have intention to get up anymore. See? Because you know you can sleep late now.
No, I want to get up. Yeah.
It's always depend on your intention. If you have intention, you can get up.
Mm,
If you don't have intention, then you just let it slide and take it easy.
yes. Mm.
Okay, any question tonight?
Yes, Ajaan, when one has ego, it will hinder the progress. What is meant by the ego here? I asked this question because for about 25 years, the same teacher told me I cannot progress because of my ego. When I tried to ask her, she said, I don't have faith in her. If I have faith, I won't ask her. So before I went to Wat Yan, she commented that it will just be another 3 weeks and it's not going to be sort of help in any progress. So what kind of ego is hindering?
Ego is believing in yourself and not believing in other people's teaching.
Mm,
You
Believing
believe
in
in your teaching. You don't believe in other people's teaching. You don't want to listen to other people. You only want to listen to yourself.
But if I want to listen to myself only, I won't be dragging on for 25 years asking the same question. Yeah. So can I just leave it and move on
You should
to,
listen to someone who can teach you
yes.
to move forward, like the Buddha and his noble disciple. You should take them as your teacher and listen to them by studying their teaching
Mm,
and follow what they teach, practice what they teach.
yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Because she told me that I have made a vow in the past that I'm going to walk the Bodhisattva path. And I say, no, I don't want to walk that path. So
Yeah.
that's what is hindering. Then she said that's what is blocking my practice.
Well, I think a lot of these things are just people's conjecture. People just imagine what a bodhisattva is. When in fact, nobody ever meets a bodhisattva before.
Mm,
So,
So I just
in
move on
reality,
and
a bodhisattva is someone who's seeking enlightenment, but could not find a teacher to teach him. So he eventually had to look for the path himself, like the Buddha. That's all. That's what it means by being a bodhisattva. Not because he didn't want to study from other people, but there were no other people who can teach him the path to enlightenment. That's all. Like the Buddha, he went to study with many teachers, but these teachers could not teach him the path to enlightenment. So he had to seek the path himself.
mm,
That's what it means by being a bodhisattva.
can I just leave it and then move on with my practice?
What do you want to leave? I don't know.
No, I just want to follow the Buddha's path.
Okay,
Yeah.
then follow. Just listen to his Dhamma, listen to the Dhamma teaching of his noble disciple, or read the scriptures, read the suttas,
Yes, I
and
want
try to
yeah.
practice according to what he teaches. The four foundation of mindfulness. That's the sutta you want to study if you want to practice.
Okay. So I should not let this hinder and feel bad. And
What should
I
you? You just don't have to worry about. Just follow the Buddha's teaching. That's all.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Ajaan.
Okay. Anura and Ramya, you look sleepy. Almost 3 o'clock, 2:30, or 4:30.
2:30. 2:30. Yeah, good evening. Yeah. Your question?
Yes.
You asked first. Yeah.
Ajahn, can you please explain a bit more about Sati Sampajana?
Sati Sampajana.
Yes.
Okay. Sati is mindfulness. Sampajana means continuous. See, mindfulness have two types. Uncontinuous mindfulness and continuous mindfulness. When you start, you have mindfulness that come on and off. You be mindful for a few minutes, then you forgot. Then you come back and continue with your mindfulness again, on and off. But as you keep practicing, then your mindfulness will eventually become continuous. When it becomes continuous, then we call sampajanya.
So concentrate, be aware of what's happening as well as sometimes realize about anicca.
Or if you use the mantra, you have to stick to your mantra all the time. Never forget, never leave it out. Never be without your mantra.
Yeah, and being mindful about.
You have to choose. You cannot just run around picking different types of objects for your mindfulness. You have to choose one or the other. You want to use something, you stick with that thing only. Don't change. If you change, then you are not mindful anymore with that thing. You want to focus on only one thing, to be mindful of one thing, not of everything.
So if you do day-to-day work, then you have to be aware of what we are doing.
That's right. If you want to use your body as your object of mindfulness, then you keep watching your body all the time. You don't go watch your mind or watch your feelings or anything like that. Just keep watching your body. You don't go watch other people. Watch other people's action. You keep watching your body only.
So think about impermanence.
No, you don't
when
think
we are silent.
You don't want to think at all. If you practice mindfulness, you don't want to think. Contemplation is later on. That's wisdom.
Yeah.
It's 2 steps ahead. You are on the first step, which is to develop mindfulness.
Thank you, Ajahn.
Once you have mindfulness and you have samadhi, then you can then go contemplate.
So that's when we have the time for meditation. When we around some time.
This is when you have all the time for meditation, then you can advance. If you don't have all the time for meditation, you'll always be stuck on the first step, which is mindfulness. Because you won't have enough time to develop your mindfulness to become sampajanya. And then have samadhi and have jhana. So you have to fully practice to be able to get this thing, to be able to move forward. If you only practice an hour a day, you won't get anywhere. You won't go far. Like you have to go on a retreat like you did 3 months, something like that. Okay.
Yeah, I have a question, Ajahn.
Okay.
Yeah. So Ajahn, I read your there was a post yesterday about people being depressed or worrying, and if they don't practice mindfulness, they will end up in a lower realm after the death. So even normal prutajana, normal people, even meditate, unless if they achieve jhana, it will be nearly impossible to die without worrying or depressed. Is that correct? Or we need to practice more jhana and then get the tranquility. Is that correct, Ajahn?
Well, actually, the cause that make you born in the lower realm of existence principally is by when you break the precept. When you keep breaking the precepts, then this will cause you to be born in the lower realm of existence. Like if you're depressed and you kill yourself, then you're breaking the precepts. And it will cause you to go born in the lower realm of existence. But just being depressed or being sad not necessarily send you to the lower realms of existence. If you made a lot of dana, charity, and your charity, the sum total of your charity is more than the sum total of your bad karma, then you will be born in heaven. So just being depressed or feeling sad, sometimes, when you are about to die or something like that, doesn't determine where you will be reborn. It's more the sum total of your good and bad karma, which is more. If your sum total of your good karma is more, then you will be pushed to go on to the heavenly realm. If your bad karma is more, then it will push you to the lower realm of existence.
Okay.
But if your mind is calm and peaceful with jhana, then you go higher than the heavenly realm. You go to the Brahma realm, which is higher than the Deva realm. The Deva realm is still in the sensual realm of existence. While the Brahma is in the non-sensual realm of existence, meditative realm of existence called jhana, rupa jhana or arupa jhana realm of existence. Okay. So don't worry if you feel sad a few seconds or you feel bad. But if you feel all day, 24 hours a day, then that can be bad for you.
Yeah. Understood.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Tanaja. Thank you.
Right. So I think you should focus more on your good and bad karma. Watch. The Buddha said avoid doing bad karma and try to do as much good karma as you can. And if possible, meditate. Purify your mind. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Tanaja. Thank you.
All right. Okay, Metal, and Mother. What's your mother name? I forgot.
I couldn't write it this time.
Mini.
Mini.
Yes.
Okay, who's gonna ask first tonight?
I want to ask you first question.
Can you speak a bit louder?
Yes. I am a very self-critical person. I tend to see in situations, I tend to see my faults more often and keep on finding my faults. So the situation that I want to understand or deepen my understanding about hurting others or harming others. So this situation where I was saving myself from hurting, in this situation, I think I've hurt other people. And this is not very clear to me. Is it my mind telling me that I'm trying to accept, okay, I hurt them, I made a mistake, or am I not looking at the situation with the appropriate or a right understanding?
Well, you have to look at the actual thing. What's really happening? Are you really hurting that person, or are you just thinking that you are hurting that person?
My understanding of hurting those people, because they are very close family, they stop talking to me.
Well, why don't you ask them to make sure?
Yes.
What's wrong with me? Did I do something wrong? Because sometimes it can be in your imagination. And this is not good to imagine something when that is not there, because this is considered to be delusional. So you have to prove it first, what you think is true or not true.
How do I communicate? Because they have stopped all communication with me. I have written a message and they did not reply, and they don't take the phone.
Well, then just think that they don't want to have anything to do with you. So so you don't have to do anything with them.
Okay. Okay.
Because not everybody you cannot expect everybody to love you or hate you. There will be some people who like you and some people who don't like you. So you just choose to deal with people who like you. If they don't like you, they don't want to have anything to do with you. Okay, that's fine. You know, there are more than 8 billion people on this earth. You expect to deal with everybody? You don't, right? You just deal with whoever you have to deal with. If you don't have to deal with them, then it's good. One less trouble to deal with, really. It's good to look at your own fault, but it has to be real, not just imagined fault. Because if you're wrong, then you should correct it. See, if you don't look at yourself, sometimes you don't know whether you're doing something wrong or not. So it's good to always watch what you do and make sure that it is right or wrong that you did. And if something wrong, then you have to stop it the next time.
Yes. Thank you, Ajahn.
But it's bad to imagine whether you're good or bad, not knowing really what is what, you know. Then this is delusional.
I understand now.
Okay.
I have one more question.
Okay.
In the previous answer, you were saying that we have to focus on one thing. We have to choose one thing to focus on to develop mindfulness.
Yes.
So far, I was using different tools at different times. Sometimes I would become mindful towards my breath, sometimes towards the body. And so how would you suggest me to do?
Well, normally, if you're moving around doing things, then you should focus on your body movement.
Mhm.
But when you're sitting, when your body is not moving, then you focus on your breath. But if you don't like watching your body, you can use a mantra for everything that you do. From the time you get up, start to recite mantra mentally to prevent your mind from thinking about things. And
Yeah.
you can go about doing your thing, reciting the mantra together with the mantra, watching what you do and also reciting the mantra at the same time.
I recite mantra when I am not able to distract from thoughts, when they are obsessive thoughts.
Okay,
Then
use
I
the
am
mantra instead. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so long as you stick with mantra and body, I think it's okay. You can switch back and forth depending on the situation.
Mhm. All right.
And you see the result, how you feel, whether your mind feel lighter, easier, with less emotion, less thoughts, then you're going in the right direction.
So sometimes my body, my body has more heat, fire element, I feel. Then I try to change my breath. So for the past 2-3 days, I'm using the changing in my breath helps me sometimes a little, sometimes it does not help me.
You change to what? Watching your heat, the heat of your body instead.
My body is very intense sometimes, like during the night, or I wake up because I'm feeling too heat in some parts of my body. Then I start the way I'm breathing normally, I change. I either use long deep breaths or short and long. I try to change my breath.
You should not force your breath when you're watching your breath. Just keep watching it. Leave the breath alone. Don't force your breath. Just know what type of breath you have at that time, whether it's short or long. But you don't force your breath to be long or short.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Any other suggestion for when the elements become intense to handle?
Just be aware and then come back to your breath or to your mantra. Don't be distracted by any other thing that might appear. You want to focus on just your object that you have set up to focus on. The goal is not to think, that's all. That's the most important thing. It's not to think about anything. Even about think about the element, about the body and anything. Just watch. You want to just keep watching. And not think you are at the stage of trying to stop your mind from thinking. So when you might think, then you should stop it. It means you're not focusing on your body or on your mantra. Unless you have to think about something essential, then you can think, like what am I going to eat today or something like that, But you don't want to daydream or imagine, go into fantasizing things and imagining things. You want to minimize your thought as much as possible. This way will empty your mind of emotions and stress. And suddenly you feel lighter and feel happier. So you have to look at the result also, whether you feel better when you're not thinking. Because when you think about something, you can become depressed, you can become stressful, become worried. So if you don't think about this thing, then this thing will not appear. This emotion will not appear.
even when I have pain in some part of my body or some heaviness, I should not focus on that part.
No, just stay on the same thing. Just watch your body movement. Or if you're sitting, watch your breath. Or if you use a mantra, you can use a mantra. But not other things. Just these three things. And you all want to see also how do you progress when you meditate? Because mindfulness is what you want to assist in your meditation. If you have strong mindfulness, your meditation should be more smooth, should be more easy and achieve result easier and quicker.
I always feel better after meditation, come much calmer and more joyful and very like
uplifting.
Yeah, it's something that I have to do. Like I cannot think of not doing it. It is so important for me.
It's like a medicine, really, for the mind. Medication for the mind.
Yes.
We call the Dhamma medicine.
Right. It is Dhamma medicine, yes, for me.
Okay. When you're depressed, use the Dhamma medicine. Don't take any other type of medication.
Yes.
Because they have side effects and you can become addicted to them also, which can be harmful.
Yes. Yeah.
But you can be addicted to the Dhamma medicine. It has no side effect or have no harmfulness.
I'm addicted. Even when I wake up in the night, sometimes at 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock. So my mind tells me to now get up and sit for meditation.
Good.
But sometimes I want to, then I tell my mind, you need to take full sleep so you can meditate better in the day and, early in the morning. Is this wrong or right? I don't know.
You just have to decide what you need more, meditation or sleep. Sometimes you need sleep also because your body has to rest and also work in the day. If you don't have enough sleep, then it can be troublesome to your body.
Yes.
So you have to know how much your body needs, how many hours of sleep.
I was sleeping very less, so then I became very, very active, and at night I would meditate and in the day also. Then I was suggested to sleep at least in the night, so I wake up early and meditate now.
Yeah, when you're awake and you feel like meditating, then go ahead. Or sometimes when you cannot sleep, don't try to force yourself to sleep. If you cannot sleep, then just meditate. You can meditate when you're lying down. So eventually you'll fall asleep. Okay. I think your picture freezes. So I think your connection is not so good. Can you still hear me?
I try to do that. I watch my breath. If I'm not able to sleep.
Okay, I think I have to move on because of your connection. It's not good. I cannot hear you.
Thank you.
Okay. We'll go to Belinda next. Oh, Metal, you want to say something yourself?
Yes, I'll stop my video and then maybe you can hear me better. Is that?
Okay, maybe better. Okay, go ahead.
Good evening, Ajaan. Thank you. So my question is about
it's not so good either.
Is about how, so my process has been something. Can you hear me?
Off and on.
Hello?
It comes on
off and on.
Yeah.
Okay,
so
maybe you can go to the next person and then come back to me later while I try and fix this.
Okay.
Yeah.
You have to wait for the next round, okay? Okay, Belinda, you're next from Singapore.
Ajahn, earlier discussion with Coxing, I'm a little confused. So suppose I call the pest control, my intention is to get rid of the pest. So that I have an intention, even though I did not request or request directly, and if the person offer to do whatever they need to be done, and then I accept the offer, does it mean that I have like some sort of karma, because the right on the onset there's intention, even though it was not spoken?
There was intention, but there were no actions on your part. So
but my
it has to be both. It has to be both to be able to be considered to be breaking the precept.
Oh,
you have to the intention, and then you have to do the action. Either say it or do it yourself. Then you're breaking the. And also the damage done to the pest. There has to be 3 things happen before the precept is considered broken. If you have the intention, the action, but you did not kill the rat, then it's still it's not breaking the precept. So the 3 things has to be there to be in order to break the precept. First, you have to have the intention, then you have to do the action, and then you have to do, the damage is done. Then the precept is considered broken.
But then, let me digest for that later. But then, I have a question also. Like when I was a kid, my mom asked my brother and I to slaughter the chicken, because she said she know there would be karma, and the rationale behind, she said, because if it's done by children, the karma isn't that heavy. At that point, we didn't have a choice but to comply. So I do not know, like, I don't have intention, but there was instructions, then I have to do it. So I take the action. I have to keep we as children, like 12 years old. So I've slaughtered many chickens. So I do not know, like, at which point, like, how much karma is involved here, like, even though I don't have intention. Full karma, because I did it.
Yeah, because you did it.
But I didn't want to.
By doing it, you have intention to do it. Or if you have no intention to do it, then you don't do it.
But if I don't want to do it, but I have no choice but to comply. Like,
yeah, when you comply, it means you already have intention to comply.
But then if you don't have a choice, and it was not a choice.
Well, animals don't have choice either. They kill for their survival. So they have to become animal. So in your case, you will become a chicken eventually in your next life.
So if it's such a case, it's like I didn't want to kill it. It was very painful for me to kill something. And then it was that moment you didn't have a choice to. So it's also like I feel I experienced the karma in my body. I got sickness and all. So I get confused. So I don't have intention, but yet, because I comply, or I don't have a choice but to comply. It's just simply my past life karma or something that I've inherited. That I have to repeat the cycle. Is it, Ajahn?
I don't know. It just happened, I guess.
But so if you don't have a choice, it's still karma. Because we have taken the action. Is it, Ajahn? I get a little confused. I thought karma has to be intention.
Yes, when you do something by yourself, it means you have intention to do that action.
My mother asked us to.
That's besides the question. That's beside the point. The point is, if you do something, you have to have intention to do it, or else you won't do it.
Okay. The intention is to comply to the person's request. Then I have the intention. Is it? The intention is to comply.
Not to comply. The intention is to do what you did. If you do something, you have to have the intention to do it, or else you won't do it. Unless it's accidental, like if you drive and a chicken run across you and you run over the chicken, then you have no intention to kill the chicken. But if you take the knife and kill the chicken, you have intention to kill the chicken. Even if you're forced to do it, that's besides the point. Who tells you to do or not to do? But your own action is followed by your intention. You have to have intention to kill that chicken before you can kill that chicken. Okay. All right.
Okay, thank you, Ajahn.
Okay.
Thank you.
Next, Philip and Edwin from Malaysia. I got your message. You're coming on the 27th, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
See you on the 28th morning.
Yes, morning.
Okay.
Yeah. They're trying to figure out the way there. Yeah. I don't have any questions tonight. Do you have? I'm just listening in.
Just listening in.
Okay. We'll see you on the 28th morning then.
Okay.
Okay. B. Raveen from Bangkok.
Good evening, Ajahn. Before I get to my question, just to clarify on the intention that was mentioned previously. Ajahn, you mentioned that if it's accidental, no karma is being committed. Do I understand it correctly?
Yes, you're not breaking the precept. But the damage is done. And then you can maybe initiate a revenge from the damaged person.
Oh.
Because the damaged person might feel hurt and wants to retaliate. But this is not karma. It won't send you to the lower realm of existence because you did not do it with intention.
All right, so it's rather if that being wants to take revenge or not, that is something different. Not bad karma.
Not bad karma, bad action, immediate action that causing other people to retaliate. It's in the law of retaliation. You hit someone, they want to hit you back, whether you have intention or not. Right? So sorry, I didn't mean to hurt you. On my hand, someone just slapped your face.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's clear, Ajahn. Yeah, okay. Understood. So now to my question. I was reading your book Beyond Birth, and there was a chapter that you mentioned about seeing the Four Noble Truths. Do I understand correctly that the Four Noble Truths can only be seen by meditation and developing wisdom, or is it something that we can develop through the Noble Eightfold Path?
No, it's something you see in your whenever happens. When you're angry, when you're sad, you have dukkha already, whether you know it or not. See? Then if you want to fix this dukkha, then you have to seek the cause of your dukkha, which is your craving for something that causes you to have anger. You want something from your friend and your friend won't give it to you, so you get angry at your friend. So if you don't want to get angry, don't expect anything from your friend. And if he doesn't give you anything, then you don't get angry at him. So it's happening all the time, you just don't see it. Because your mind is always looking at the thing instead of the Four Noble Truths. You're looking at the cause, external cause rather than the internal cause. The real cause is the internal one. Your desire, your expectation, or your craving is the one that's causing you dukkha, not what you don't get or got. You expect people to be nice to you, so when they're not nice to you, you get angry at them. You hate them. You feel bad. And you try to fix those people by trying to make them treat you nice. And if they don't treat you nice, then you will always be angry. But if you fix your craving, your desire for those people to be nice to you, say, well, you cannot force them to be nice to you. And accept this truth and say, don't expect anything from them. Then you will never get angry anymore with anybody. The Four Noble Truths is working every day, many times a day in your your life, but you don't know that it's happening because you keep looking at the objects of your desire, of your cravings. That's all you go after. And when you feel sad with that object, you didn't know that it's because of your cravings that makes you feel sad. You say it's that object that's caused you to have bad feeling or feel sad. So you try to fix that object rather than fix your craving. The Four Noble Truths happen all the time. When you expect something and you don't get it, then you feel bad. That's dukkha already. It happens many times a day without you knowing it. If you don't have mindfulness to look inside your mind, because 99% of your time you're looking outside, you're dealing with things outside, so you don't see the Four Noble Truths that's happening inside.
Yes.
That's why you have to bring your mind inside. In order for the mind to be really inside, it has to enter into jhana. That's when it goes inside. Then when you come out of jhana, you will start to see things happening in your mind clearly. You will start to see cravings and stress when they come up. And when they disappear, when your craving disappear, your stress disappear. When we talk about a theory, we talk about Four Noble Truths, Noble Eightfold Path, the Magga, and so forth. This is our theory. But reality is happening all the time. But you don't have the tool to look at the reality because your mind is being directed outward, not inward. You look at a different screen, let's put it that way. There are two screens, outside screen and inside screen. And you're looking at the outside screen all the time without looking at the inside screen. So you don't see the Four Noble Truths. That's happening with every action that you do practically. So you want to switch your attention to a different screen. Look at the inner screen. But it's hard to do this because you have to flip your mind 180 degrees back. Instead of looking outward, bring your mind inside by using mindfulness, pulling your mind inside. By focusing on something like mantra on your body or your breath when you meditate. And your mind will go inside and leave the sensual objects. Then you'll begin to see the mind and the action that's happening inside the mind. So when you come out in meditation, at least now you know that there's another screen you have to look at, which is your mind. But before that, you never know there's another screen to look at. You always look at the five sensual objects as your screen. But as you progress in your meditation, mindfulness, and meditation, your mind will be becoming more acquainted with the inner screen. And you'll see both screens at the same time. You look at the outside also, but you also look at the inside. Because the inside is the one that controls the outside screen. What you do with the outside screen comes from the inside screen, comes from your mind, comes from your thought. Okay, is this clear to you?
Yes, I understand now. So the inside screen is looking into our mind to see that our mind is the cause of suffering. The outside screen is the sensual objects that our mind takes as being the cause of suffering, whereas it isn't. Actually, it's inside the mind itself. The greed and the delusion and the hatred is what causes the suffering.
Yeah.
So that is samudaya, and nirodha is to end the suffering.
Yeah. By stopping your craving, your greed, hate, and delusion, not by stopping the sensual objects. Manage the sensual objects, controlling the sensual objects, change the sensual objects. Like people do, you keep changing the sensual objects. You don't like what you see, so you change it. You don't like the furniture in your house, you change the furniture. You like the paint in the house, you change the paint. You keep changing all the time, but it never becomes satisfactory to you. Because the thing that caused you to do all these changes is your craving. Because you don't like redundancy. After you see things for a while, you become bored with the same thing. So you want to change, you want something different. That's craving.
Yes, indeed, that is true. It's very difficult to not prefer change.
Because redundancy or familiarity causes you to have stress or unhappiness. You're not happy when you see old familiar thing every day. Eat the familiar food every day, you become, sick of it.
Yes.
That's because your craving wants something new all the time. Your craving wants something new.
That is true. I admit that.
But if you can calm your mind and have jhana, then you can suppress your craving. Then you can eat anything. Same old food every day, doesn't matter. As long as you're hungry, you eat anything anyway.
Yes. So Ajaan, once we achieve this is just the concentration that keeps us from suppressing the delusion, right? But then from your book, I understand you mentioned there's another level, which is wisdom, which kind of kills it off permanently. That is a different step, right?
Yeah, there you have to see that everything that you pray for are impermanent and are not under your control. It can change. You get something you like, and then suddenly that thing change, and instead of liking it, you hate it. Then it costs you dukkha, costs you disappointment, costs you sadness if you lose that thing that you like. So when you see that everything will cost you dukkha sooner or later if you go after them, then it's better not to go. Then you say, better not to go after them. Better stick with the emptiness that you have. Doesn't hurt you. The emptiness never change. So eventually you learn to live with emptiness. Emptiness is the best form of happiness, the Buddha said. Nibbana paramang sunyam, nibbana paramang sukham. Nibbana is the supreme emptiness. Nibbana is the supreme happiness. So happiness and emptiness equals nibbana. So emptiness and happiness equal each other, right? According to mathematics. If A is equal to B, B equal to C, then C equals to A or B, right? If A is nibbana equals to emptiness, if A nibbana equals to supreme happiness, then supreme happiness equals to supreme emptiness. So you want to get to the point where your mind can live with emptiness and be happy. Because with the wisdom you see, having things will cause your mind to have dukkha, regardless of whatever you have. They are all in anicca, they all sooner or later they will disappear or change. And you cannot force them to remain permanent all the time, remain the same all the time.
Yes.
This is wisdom, contemplation of the three characteristics of existence. Everything that appears are gonna cause you dukkha sooner or later if you go after them. If you leave them alone, they won't cause you any dukkha. But if you start to possess them, start to own them, then they will cause you dukkha. So eventually you come to the conclusion that it's better to have nothing. Because nothing can cause you any dukkha. It's only something that can cause you dukkha, but nothing can cause you dukkha.
Yes.
So it's better to live without anything. Live with nothing. With nothing, there's no dukkha. With something, there's always dukkha.
Yes. Does this apply to jhana as well, Thanajan? Does
Yes,
jhana
eventually jhana or something also. You don't have to have jhana. You don't have to go into jhana to be happy. You can be happy without jhana, without anything. Just be right now, here and now, and be happy with nothing. When there's no craving, then you'll always be happy. Craving is the one that causes you to be dissatisfied. Then it will force you to go look for something to satisfy you. But nothing can satisfy you permanently. Okay.
Yes, Thanajan. I will remember that equation. I really like that analogy of yours. If nibbana equals happiness, then happiness equals emptiness. That's brilliant.
Because the Buddha said nibbana is emptiness, nibbana is happiness. So nibbana equals to happiness equals to emptiness. So emptiness must be happiness, right? Which is true. When you have emptiness, there's nothing. The reason why you cannot live with emptiness is because you still have cravings. It's the craving that causes you not to be satisfied with emptiness. But if you can get your mind to jhana, when you come out, you can be happy with nothing. But when your jhana wanes, then your desire comes up again. Then you have to use wisdom to tell your mind that it's better to have nothing than to have something. When you see the truth of this, then you will be convinced and say, yeah, better I have nothing. But then eventually you learn to live with nothing. And be happy with nothing. Okay?
Yes, Thanajan, thank you so much for your
All
teaching.
right. Nandapat from Thailand also. From Ubon Nachatani.
นมัสการค่ะท่านอาจารย์ค่ะ Tonight I don't have any question, but tonight I am glad to hear about the Q&A from Professor about the contemplation of the dead ค่ะ
Okay, good. Next, Diana from Wales.
Greetings, Thanajan. I have a family member who is feeling depressed and has said that they feel like killing themselves. How have you got any teaching about how to help someone who feels like that?
It's too late now. If it's too late to teach, you have to teach when the person is not depressed, because it takes a lot of effort. Like people like us right now, we have to learn to meditate, learn to calm the mind, learn to be happy with simplicity of life, learn to live austerely. But if we used to live with so many things, when one day we can no longer have them, then we become depressed. So it's a bit too late now to teach someone who's already depressed. Unless that person can take up the teaching, then it's okay. Can you tell them to meditate, to practice mindfulness?
he has good example, but I don't think it's something he does. Yeah. But
if he can meditate, if he can practice mindfulness all day long, he can overcome his depression.
Mm. Mm.
But for us, even when we're not depressed, we find it difficult to maintain mindfulness and meditate. How hard it would be when we are depressed, you know.
Mm. Mm.
I'm not saying to discourage or anything like that. I'm just speaking realistically, you know. So
Yes, no, I appreciate that. That is helpful. So we just have to go for each day.
Yeah. And this practice of mindfulness and meditation takes time to understand also the purpose and the usefulness of it. If you're not convinced, then it's very difficult for you to practice this thing.
Mm.
So if someone who is depressed, how can you educate that person about the usefulness of the practice of meditation or mindfulness?
Mm. Mm.
Maybe you can, I don't know. Can you educate them? Say, do mindfulness, stop thinking, and you feel better. Because
Yes.
your depression comes from your thought, really, and your desire for things.
Mm.
If you can stop your thought and you can stop your desire for things temporarily, then you'll feel better. Then you'll find out that it's your desire for things that caused you the depression.
Mm.
So you have to learn to live without any desire for things. Learn to live simply.
Mm.
Learn to live with what you have.
Mm. Mm. And to let things go, isn't it?
Yeah, let everything be. Let everything be.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's hard when we want to help people, but we can't, isn't it?
That's right. We can try, but you know, at least you do your part. You try, and once you have done that, then you know that's all you can do.
Mm. Thank you.
Okay. Next, Evie from Indonesia.
Hello, Ajahn. Can Ajahn hear me?
Yes.
Regarding about behaving explanation to behaving about empty is happiness. To be empty must be lost first. Is that right, Ajahn?
To be what?
When to be lost.
To be lost. To be alone, you mean?
To be lost something. Empty, I mean, maybe for me, it's just we lost this, we lost that. So we have nothing again. But when the process, when we lost, we must be suffering unless we have received it. But all of that must go through suffering first, all right? When we just
when you lose something, you have suffering because you don't want to lose that thing. If you want to lose that thing and you lose that thing, then you don't want to have any suffering.
But when we accept that, okay, I have lost this thing, okay, it's okay. It's very hard to find the acceptance. I mean.
Well, it depends on you whether you like that thing or not. If you don't like that thing when you lose it, you won't feel any bad. You won't have any suffering. You might feel happier when you lose something you hate.
Oh yeah, if I lost something I hate, I must happier. If I lost something I like, I must be
So
suffering.
try to hate everything. Try to hate everything. So when you lose, you feel happy.
Yeah, maybe that still cannot lah, Ajahn. So I think when I see when people for the first time they lost anything, they will first suffer until they go through the time and they be better again. And they say, okay, that is so long time ago. I have forget it. And they accept. And maybe that happiness will come to us. So maybe it takes time. I mean, it takes time. Is that right, Ajahn? To accept something we lost.
It depends on each individual. Some people can recover quickly. Some people takes time to recover.
Yeah, and this process cannot be stopped if we still have want this.
If you still have
craving,
attachment, if you
craving,
still
yeah.
have cravings, attachment, then you will always have this when you lose something that you are attached to or crave for.
So our craving is so long, many years. We craving for this, craving for that, and we lost this. We suffering of this. And
Yes,
we
the
craving
Buddha said
again.
our cravings are larger than the ocean.
Yeah. So it's very hard to erase the craving.
Okay.
Yeah. So does the craving can be deleted if we diligently do meditate?
Yes,
Because
when
I
you
still
meditate, you stop craving temporarily. When you enter into jhana, craving disappear, then equanimity arise.
But the equanimity is just
Temporarily.
maybe temporary for many
But,
hours.
but it's given you enough time to contemplate on wisdom, to see that everything that you crave for are causing you dukkha, or will cause dukkha for you. Then you get rid of everything and live with equanimity forever.
Yeah. Maybe one day I can think.
Hopefully, yes. I hope maybe tomorrow even.
So
Why not just give up everything? Just give up everything and go live in the monastery.
Yeah.
Like the Buddha, he gave up his palace and he went to live in the monastery.
So quick. Yeah.
We all can do it. We just don't want to do it. That's all. But we can. How? Because we just like the Buddha. We're just human like the Buddha. The Buddha was just a human being. He's nothing more than us or less than us.
But the Buddha has the great parami, Ajahn.
We have the wisdom now. We learn from the Buddha. We have an example to follow now. But we just don't want to follow him. That's all.
Yeah. Okay,
Because you're still attached. You still crave for things. You don't want to look. You don't want to live with nothing.
Maybe my parami just so little like this.
Yeah.
So still cannot.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Next. Christine Koe from Malaysia.
Good evening, Long Po. I have no question. Thank you.
Okay. Bruce Lee from Indonesia.
Good evening, Ajahn. Thank you very much, Ajahn. I don't have any question.
Okay. Surian Chek from near Vancouver.
Hello, Ajahn.
Okay.
Ajahn, like my question is like in the sutta, sometimes Buddha say we have to our body have to be straight. Is it part of the mindfulness practice?
Be straight.
Yeah.
I guess. What do you mean the body has to be straight to
Sit
be
down and then
mindful?
like the Buddha always say, sit down and then like straighten your body.
Sit up straight.
Sit up straight. Oh.
Yeah, maybe he's just teaching the right posture, not about mindfulness.
Oh.
You can have mindfulness whether your body is straight or not straight.
Okay. And Ajahn, just now you were talking about the emptiness. Like, so for Sotapan, like in his mind, the mind is empty of of the body. Is it that there's no body attachment?
There's body, but there's no attachment to the body.
Yeah.
So as it doesn't exist as far as the mind of the Sotapanna is concerned. Whether it exists or not doesn't bother the mind of the Sotapanna. If it's still there, fine. If it's not there, fine. That's what it means. It doesn't mean that he has to get rid of his body by committing suicide. Some people think like that, oh, to be a Sotapanna, you have to kill your body to prove that you're a Sotapanna. Hang yourself. I think there was a story of a couple who hanged themselves. They thought they became enlightened. They left a goodbye note saying they have become enlightened, so they don't need this body anymore. So they just kill the body.
And that's the wrong view. That
delusional enlightenment. It can be difficult if you don't have a teacher to supervise your practice sometimes. So that's why you have to have the precept as your protection always, regardless of whether you're enlightened or not. You don't kill regardless, and you don't kill other people either, even out of compassion. There's no such thing as compassionate killing. That's delusional killing.
Oh, okay.
Because then you'll always find some reason to kill, right? You're not compassionate or otherwise.
Yeah.
So the precept is the base of your practice. You have to be grounded in the 5 precepts in order to prevent your delusion from misleading you into thinking that you can break the precept once you become enlightened.
Oh. Yeah, okay. Yep, that was my question. Thank you, Daniel.
Okay. And about you, check.
Ajahn, is the wisdom developed samadhi and vipassana? Is it same or different?
Different. You use wisdom sometimes when you meditate and you cannot calm your mind. Now you worry about your son, so you use wisdom to say, investigate the nature of your son. You worry that your son might die because he's sick now and might die, so you cannot meditate, you cannot focus on your breath. So you use your son's sickness as your object of investigation. Investigate the nature of your son, whether it's anicca or not anicca. Is he protected from aging, sickness, or death or not? Is he subjected to aging, sickness, and death? Once you get the answer, then you say, okay, if he's gonna die, I cannot stop him. Then your mind can calm down, and then you can continue on with your meditation. Or any other thing. Just want to give an easy example, something close to you, so you can see the picture better. Sometimes you worry about the COVID-19, whether you're going to get it or not. So you cannot concentrate on your meditation. But then if you study that, what can you do? Your body can, if it's going to catch COVID, can you stop it from catching or not? You cannot. So you have to accept, okay, if I'm going to catch it, catch it. Once you accept that, then your worry disappears. Then your mind return back to normal, and then you can continue meditating. Or sometimes even becomes calm after you have accepted this truth. This is wisdom develops samadhi. using the truth to calm your mind. Normally the mind forget the truth and don't want to accept the truth. Don't want my son to die. Don't want my son to get sick. I don't want to catch COVID. Yeah. This is against the truth. The truth is you can't catch COVID. You can die. And there's nothing to stop it. If it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. So if you accept it, then your restlessness and worry disappear. Your mind becomes calm, and maybe even becomes enlightened. Okay.
But if it's really become enlightened, then it's vipassana then.
Yeah, if you become enlightened, it's vipassana. If you no longer fearful of death or sickness or pain, then you can become a sotapanna. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ajahn.
Thank you, Tanya.
All right. Alvin.
Good evening, Tanajan. I don't have any question today. Thanks.
Okay. Sulan, Singapore.
Ajahn.
Go ahead.
Yeah, hello, Ajahn. I got a question, which is like usually people say that enlightenment is for the benefit of oneself and others. Then I'm just wondering that for like Pacceka Buddhas, like because they don't actually teach the Dhamma, then like how does it benefit others?
Well, it depends on the situation. Maybe there's no one who wants to learn from him, so he didn't teach. You became enlightened in a place where people are not interested in religious matter. They are secular, and you cannot teach them. Like you probably cannot teach people in America. Not many people in America will like religion. Right? Or even in Singapore, maybe lots of people are not religious. If they're not religious, you cannot teach them because they're not interested in religious teaching. They're only interested in how to make money.
Yeah, that's true.
So maybe a Pacceka Buddha had no student. He could not find any student to teach. Not because he didn't want to teach. Like the Buddha, when he first started thinking about teaching, he only saw people who he considered not to be students. But then after second thought, he said there are some people whom he can teach.
Yes.
So he divided people into 4 categories of students: bright student, medium student, and low student, and non-student. There are 4 types of people he could teach. The non-student he won't teach. He leave them alone. And he pick the 3 students. He picked the brightest one first because they're easier to teach. You just say 1 or 2 words and they become enlightened. Then they can help you spread the teaching. Once you get rid of the first group, then you go to the next group, the middle. It takes a little while for them to understand. And once you get rid of the second group, then you go to the remaining, the third, the slow ones. Then this takes a long time, 7 years. The first group, 7 days. The second group, 7 months. The third group, 7 years.
Yeah. But
okay.
That's also quite lucky for them, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Because at first he thought they were all the 4th groups. So no one interested in teaching. in the practice.
Mm.
But then eventually he started to think twice, and then he discovered a different type of people. So he put them to 4 categories, the 4 lotuses.
Oh, then like for the Patrika Buddhas, wouldn't it be very wasted? Because like unlike our current Buddha.
As far as he's concerned, he was not wasted. He benefited from what he sought for, and the other people are just the bonuses. That's all.
Oh, okay.
His goal is to enlighten himself. As far as other people, it depends on whether they want to or not. If they don't want to, he won't force on them.
Oh, okay. I see. Then oh yeah, on a related question, I think like there was also I think last week I heard of this story about 300 years ago there was this very famous monk that is Luang Ta Wat. Then like a lot of people say that he can perform a lot of miracles, and then like he's a very famous monk. Then I was wondering, like I was trying to search if he left any like Dhamma teachings, but I couldn't find.
See, there are people who are famous for different reasons. Famous for enlightenment or famous for psychic power. See? And usually a lot of people are more interested in the monks who are famous in psychic power, because they think they can depend on them to make them rich, make them happy. They don't like the monks with the enlightened, famous for enlightenment, because they have to work hard to achieve enlightenment. So they don't like that. They like something easy, like they like something go ask for a lottery ticket number and they get it right away and buy it and they win the lottery ticket. They like something like that, but they don't like to go and sit and meditate and live alone in the forest. That's too hard for them. So a lot of monks in Thailand who are famous are not famous for enlightenment. They are famous for their psychic power.
Oh, then it's very wasted again, right? Because
they themselves are not enlightened either. If they're enlightened, then they will teach people to become enlightened.
Okay. So we should think of it as like being enlightened in itself, benefiting ourselves is a really very good. And then
that's the first goal. The first goal is to enlighten yourself first. If you cannot enlighten yourself, how can you enlighten other people?
Yes.
And then once you become enlightened, then you seek for a student. If you cannot find a student, what can you do? You close the school down, right? You open up the school and no attendance, no application. So what you do with your school, you have to close it down.
Yeah, like I think they will need marketing skills. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Go to Vandana next.
Thank you, Ajahn.
Okay, Vandana, where are you from? I forgot.
Thank you, Ajahn. I'm from California.
Okay.
Yes. So I was, it's very interesting that we were talking about emptiness. So I mentioned last time that I learned both Theravada and Mahayana. So for emptiness, what I learned that is it's not empty of everything. Is interconnectedness, that there is no independent self, right? So nothing exists independently, and that's how we see it. Empty means first it has to be full. So for example, when Buddha talked about the Four Noble Truths, suffering, causes of suffering, and then path, and also the moral 5 precepts. So because some people misunderstand that if everything is empty, why we have to follow anything, right? Why we have to have conventional rules and why we have to follow 5 precepts. So that's what we have that's what I understood from it, that first we need to follow the path, and then slowly you will see that nothing exists, because everything is a compound of something else. Even in this body is not is connected, all parts are connected. So I always I'm practicing mindfulness, and I'm blessed that I teach in the college level, so I can teach my student no matter what subject I teach. But I start my class session with mindfulness meditation, so at least they have some now we all are having some understanding that how our body has a lot of our mind has a lot of feelings, and the body has a lot of sensations. So I start experiencing those sensations slowly. Now I can feel whatever is which body part has, for example, the stomach moving from inside, and the brain waves. It's like moves like waves, which I mentioned last class. And then you told me not to, when I told you that my body start to move involuntarily. For example, my head goes upward, and then you told me that just focus your attention on the breath. And that's now I'm doing that, and it's working. So I have to keep on bringing my focus there. So my question is that so should I just stop my body? What the body shouldn't let go? Like, for example, don't let my body move freely, right? Because when I first started meditation, my body would do very strange things, like my head would move this side, then move this side, and my body start to like, because I also do qigong practice. So maybe my body is aligning the energy. That's what I thought. And now I can see that movement stopped. Now this head movement, which I mentioned last session, and now I'm also be mindful of that, where if it's going to go, then I have to just keep it. But I'm listening to one of the talk of Ajaan Man, but it says that you need to, when you are adjusted your body for you're sitting in the meditation, and after 1 hour or so, when you're in deep meditation, don't just forget about the body. Don't worry about the posture anymore. Don't do any other adjustments. So I'm just confused that then should I let my body go wherever the body wants to go, or should I come back to the breathing and be mindful of, and don't let the body move in different directions? Does it make sense?
No, you don't understand. See, when you meditate, you sit still. That's the purpose. You want to leave the body alone. In order for the mind to become still, the mind has to leave the body alone, because the movement of the body usually is moved by the mind. And if the mind keeps moving the body, then the mind cannot be still. See? So when you meditate, as soon as you start meditating, you forget about the body. You just assume that you have left the body in its right place, and don't worry about it anymore. And just keep concentrating on your meditation object to still your mind completely.
Okay.
Once your mind becomes still, it becomes detached from the body, and it doesn't know anything about the body anymore. Even if the body leans or something, but usually it won't. Once the mind has nothing to do with the body will not do anything. The body will be like a dead person when the mind becomes calm. So don't worry about the body when you meditate.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay.
Should you feel that your body moves around, it means you're not mindful and you allow the mind to go play with the body. So you just come back and focus on your meditation object.
Okay. So it's just my mind is showing me something which is not even there. So mind is distracting me that my body is making movement. But
sometimes you might just imagine it without any reality, not according to reality, just imagination.
Okay.
So just don't pay attention to anything the mind tells you when you meditate.
Okay, because the mind tells me so many. For example, the body start. But what I noticed that because
it means
I
you
hold
don't have enough mindfulness to prevent your mind from telling you all these things.
Okay, because when I hold my hands together in the diamond fist when I do meditation, and slowly I can see that the body becomes is lifting upwards, and then the body parts like stretching. So my hands they don't hold anymore.
You're not concentrating anymore. See? If you're concentrating, these things won't happen.
Okay. Wow.
When you're not concentrating, then your mind starts to create all these things. So just concentrate on your breath and disregard everything that might appear in your mind.
Yes, thank you, Ajaan. This is the beginning. I'm in the beginning state, so I can tell that I'm not mindful enough. Thank you so much.
You need to practice more mindfulness before you meditate. You should be mindful of your body when you're not meditating. Whatever your body is doing, you should keep watching your body only. Don't let your mind go thinking about other things. Stay close to your body. Walk with your body, sit with your body, eat with your body. Don't do any multitasking.
Yes. Yeah.
Do unitasking.
Yeah.
One task at a time. The body task. Whatever the body is doing, the mind is doing that with the body.
Yeah.
Okay, then when you meditate, when you let your mind watch your breath, then the mind will stay with the breath and not go thinking or creating anything to distract you.
Thank you so much, Ajaan.
All right. We have about 5 minutes left. Do we have any other people who wants to ask a question? Okay, Mittal, you want to ask? Go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Tanajan. My question is about how my meditation is progressing. I'm able to get into some state of concentration, and then the next few days, it's like certain memories coming up to the surface, where it's either that somewhere that in the past of some trauma that I've suffered or some harm that I've done to others, like broken precepts or things like that in the past. And then it's like I have to understand about that. I don't know if you can hear me. My internet is unstable. Okay. And it happened that I decided to apologize to some people that I had harmed in the past, and that really helped calm my mind down again. But then the mind is just looking for more people to apologize to, or pulling up more stories from the past. I don't know how best to deal with this.
You have lost your mindfulness. That's why your mind is creating all these things, these stories. Right. Just come back to mindfulness, then all this thing will disappear. Then you don't have to do anything. You don't have to go apologize to those people.
Okay.
When you don't think about it, then you forget about it. See? But when you think about it, then you feel guilty. You feel you have to do something. Right. This is the result of you not being mindful. You're not preventing your mind from thinking. Don't let your mind think. Or when you think, then you should say, "Oh, just don't pay attention to what you think. Come back to your mindfulness." Okay.
It's just coming back to mindfulness becomes difficult.
Yeah, continue with your mindfulness. Right. As soon as you stop being mindful, your mind will start thinking about things, and then you have to go do what your mind tells you to do.
Right.
When you don't think, then there's nothing for you to do, right?
Yeah.
Okay, then don't think. Then you don't have to do anything. But when you think, then you feel compelled that you have to do this and that.
Yeah.
All right, I think we're running out of time. Only have 2 minutes left. So I think we have to skip the question from Facebook for tonight. Okay, I'm sorry, but we have so many questions tonight. Okay, thank you very much for your participation in this meeting. I hope that you have benefited from this meeting and use it to help you advance in your practice. In the meantime, please stay healthy, stay safe and mindful, and keep on practicing. And if all goes well, I'll see you all at the same time next week. Thank you and good night or goodbye.
สาธุค่ะ
Thank you, Ajahn.
Thank you, Tanajan.
Sadhu. Thank you, Ajahn.
Thank you, Admin.
Bye, Admin.